Welcome everyone to today's class. As you can see, the topic we are handling today is simultaneous equation. And we have treated linear simultaneous equation, and also we have treated the graphic method of solving linear simultaneous equation. But in today's class, we are going to look at one linear, one quadratic equation. Okay, so what is one linear, one quadratic equation? This is a situation that you have a simultaneous equation that one of the equations is linear while the other equation is a quadratic equation. So in such case, what are we going to do? So we are going to use an example to show how we can be able to solve a problem of one linear and one quadratic what? Equation. I'm going to solve 4 examples looking at 4 different kind of problems that can come out from this topic. So let us start with question number 1. Our first question we are going to solve is 3x squared minus 4y equal to minus 1. Then the second equation is 2x minus y equal to 1. If you look at these 2 equations very well, it's obvious to know which of the equation is a quadratic equation because there's a square in this particular variable. In this expression here, the variable here, x, has a power of 2, and that makes it a quadratic equation. The second equation, or the 2 variables there, have power of 1, so they are the linear equation. So when you want to solve a problem of this nature, what do? Go to the linear equation, okay, identify the linear equation, go to the linear equation, make one of the variable there subject of the formula. Make one of the variable in the linear equation subject of the formula. To get equation 3, then use that equation 3 and substitute in the variable that you have already made subject of the formula in equation 3, put it in equation 1. Let me repeat what I just said. Go to the linear equation, make one of the variables subject of the formula, then you put it back in the quadratic equation. Okay, so let us solve that and see how that goes. From equation 2, make y subject of formula. So I have 2x minus y equals to 1. So I will take this one here over here, and I'll bring this one inside here. So that will give me 2x minus 1 equals to y. You can see that y equal to what? 2x minus 1. So that gives me what? Equation 3. Okay. So what else are we going to do is to substitute y in equation 1 using equation 3. Okay, so we are going to replace the value of y, or the expression representing y, in equation 3. We are going to put it in equation 1. So when you take the value of y in equation 3, we are going to put it in equation 1. So that will give us 3x squared minus 4 into our y. Our y now is 2s minus 1 equals to minus 1. So we are going to solve this resulting equation. So that will give us 3s squared minus 4 minus times 2s will give us 8s, minus 4 times minus 1 will give us plus 4 equals to minus 1. So we are going to bring this inside. So we are going to have 3s squared minus 8s plus 4 plus 1 equal to 0. So when you simplify that 4 plus 1, you will get 3s squared minus 8s plus 5 equal to 0. So you can see that what we have here is a quadratic equation. So the next thing to do is to factorize it. You can use factorization method, and you can also use formula method to solve that. But I think it's very simple equation to solve with factorization method, so I think we can solve it with factorization method. So when you factorize this, you are going to have 3s squared minus 3s minus 5s plus 5 equals to 0. So when you group it, let's come over here. So you're going to have 3s squared minus 3s. Minus will come outside there into 5s minus 5 equal to 0. We have a video on factorization, so if you don't understand this part, I think you can still check out the videos on factorization of quadratic equation. So what is common here is 3s. So we'll bring it out. We have x minus 1. And what is common here is 5. We have s minus 1 equal to 0. Okay. So s minus 1, s minus 1. So that will give us that s minus 1 in brackets. What will remain here is 3s, and what will remain here is minus 5 equal to 0. Okay, so we have factorized. So let's find the value of our x. So s will give us x minus 1 equal to 0, or 3s minus 5 equal to 0. So the next thing to do is to find the value of our x. So that will give us that x equals to 1, or, so you solve for x here, minus 5 will go over here, you have 3x equals to 5. So the next thing to do is to find the values of x. So that will give us, divide both sides by 3 here, you have x equals to 5 over 3. So we have gotten the answers of our s. So the next thing now is to put the values of s in equation 3 to get the corresponding values of y. So let us do that. So put s equals to 1 in 3. So when you put it here, you have 2 into 1 minus 1 equals to y. So that will give us 2 minus 1 equal to y. Therefore, y equal to 1. That's because 2 minus 1 will give you 1. Okay? So the next thing to do is to also put this one there. So that will give us, you put x equals to 5 over 3 in equation 3. Okay? So that will give you, when you put x as 5 over 3 here, you are going to have 2 into 5 over 3 minus 1 equal to y. So when you open this bracket here, you have 10 over 3 minus 1 equal to y. And when you simplify this fraction, okay, this is a fraction, so when you simplify it, LCM is 3. 3 divided by 3 will give you 1. The 1 times 10 will give you, okay, let's work it out. 1 times 10 will give you 10 minus 3 divided by 1 here. You make this 1 over 1. 3 times 1, 3. So that will give you 7 over 3. Of course, that's our y. So we have gotten the values of our y and the values of our s. So we can present our answer here. So we can say hence. So we can say hence, when s equal to, when s equal to 1, y equal to 1. Okay? When s equal to 1, y equal to 1. And when s equal to 5 over 3, y equal to 7 over 3. So you can also present the answer in ordered pair. Okay, so you can say it as 1 comma 1, or 5 over 3 comma 7 over 3. So these are the two different ways you can present your answers. Okay, so we are going to move to number 2. Number 2 might look a little bit different from this one. Look at the kind of question we have here. 3s plus y equals to 25 and xy equals to 8. Now, if you are not careful, you might think that this question does not have any quadratic in it because there is no variable that is raised to power 2, okay? But x times y represents our quadratic. Why? Because our s square is the same thing with s times s, and our xy is the same thing with s times y. So you can see S square means two variables multiplying, sy means two variables multiplying. So that represents our quadratic equation. So here is our linear and here is our what? Quadratic. So the way we solve it initially, that's the same way we are going to solve. Maybe this time around, we might use the formula method to solve the resulting quadratic equation that will come out. So let us see how that goes. So the same way from equation, the linear equation, so we say from equation 1, make y subject of the formula. So we are going to make y subject of the formula. So from equation 1, that will give us that y equal to 25. When 3 cross over here, minus 3x, that will give us our equation 3. So now we have gotten our equation 3. What do we do next? You take equation 3, the value of y, and put it in the quadratic, which is equation 2. So substitute y in 3, substitute y in 2 with equation 3. So substitute y in 2 with what you have in equation 3. So that will give us s into, so our y now, 25 minus 3x equal to 8. So when you open that bracket there, you have 25x minus 3x squared equal to 8. So when you, at this point, you can actually change the value, the sign of our s square, but you can actually solve like that, okay? So we are going to solve like that in case if you wish to solve with the negative sign. So we are going to solve like that using formula method this time around. The previous question we use factorize. Like I always say, most of the questions that will lead to quadratic equation, most of the time they are always factorizable. So you can use factorization method or you can use formula method because those are the two methods that are the easiest in solving quadratic equation. So let's bring our 8 in and rearrange this. So that will give us minus 3s squared plus 25s minus 8 equal to 0. So we are going to use our formula method. A is equals to minus 3, B equals to 25, and C equals to minus 8. And our formula is that S equals to minus B plus or minus square root of B squared minus 4AC over 2A. So this is our formula. So we are going to put in all these values inside this formula. So let's work that out here. So that will give us minus in the formula, b is 25, okay, plus or minus square root of 25 square minus 4, a is minus 3, and c is minus 8, all over 2 into minus 3. Okay, so with what we have now, we solve for s. S will give us minus 25 plus or minus square root of minus 25. So we are going to simplify this, all the numbers inside this square root. 25 square minus 4 times minus 3 times minus 8, okay? So we are going to find the value. 25 square will give me 625 minus this, and this will give me 24. 24 times 4 will give me 96, okay, all over minus 6. So s will give me minus 25 plus or minus square root of, when you subtract this, 625 minus 96, that will give us 9 here, 2 5, okay. Yes, so 15 minus this will give us 9, remaining 1, borrow 1, 11 minus this will give us 2, yes, so that will give us 529 all over minus 6. And square root of 529 will give us 23. So s equals to minus 25 plus or minus 23 all over minus 6. Okay, so that will give us that s equals to minus 25 plus 23 over minus 6, or minus 25 minus 23 over minus 6. So with that now, you solve for your s and get the two values of s and use it and get the corresponding values of y. Okay? So this will give you minus 2 over minus 6, or this will give you minus 48 over minus 6. So when you divide, you have that s equal to 1 over 3, or s equal to 8 when you divide these two. So these two values of s, we are going to put it in equation 3 to get the corresponding value of y. So let us do that. Put s equals to 1 over 3 in equation 3. So that will give us that y equals to 25 minus 3 into 1 over 3. So that will give us that y equals to 25 minus 1. That will give us that y equals to 24. Okay, that's because 3 times 1 over 3 will give you 1. Then 25 minus 1 will give you 24. So the next thing now is to put in equation 3 s as what? 8. So that will give you that equals to 8 in equation 3. So when you do that, you are going to have that y equals to 25 minus 3 into 8. 3 times 8 will give you 24. So that will give us that y equals to 25 minus 24. So that will give us that y equals to 1. So we have gotten the two values of s and we have gotten the two values of y. So let's conclude our answer here. When s equals to 1 over 3, y equals to, when you put s as 1 over 3, you got y as 24. And when s equals to 8, we got y as 1. So we have seen how we have solved that type of question. What is this type of question? When you have your s and y, when at first glance, you think that there is no quadratic equation among the two equations given to us, but this is our quadratic when you have x and y together without plus or minus separating them, okay? So when x and y multiply, that's a quadratic equation. In our next question, we might see something different. So let's see how that looks like. When you look at the two sets of equations that we have here, it looks exactly like the kind of question we solved in example 1. Yes, actually, they look alike, but we can take another approach in solving this particular one. Because when you make s subject of the formula, just like we did in equation 1, in question 1, it's actually going to give you a fraction, which might make it more difficult for you to solve. Okay, so if you take a close look at these two equations, is that 9y squared 3y, 8s 28. You will notice that 3y is actually a factor of 9y squared, and 2s is a factor of what? 8s. So let us use that approach to handle this question. So what am I going to do? I can decide to make 2s subject of the formula, then I will put it inside this one, or I can decide to make 3s subject of the formula I will put it inside this one. So let's take another approach to solving this problem. Let's make 2s subject of formula. So what would that give us? We will have 2s equal to what? 4 minus 3y. Okay? Now, this 4 minus 3y, we are going to put it here because 8s is the same thing with 4 into 2s. So we can write our equation 1 as 9y squared plus 4 into 2x equal to 12. So when you put this one here, you're going to have 9y squared plus 4 into, in place of 2s, I'm going to have what? 4 minus 3y equal to what? 12. So you can see we have gotten our, when you open this bracket, you will get your quadratic equation. So this will give you 9y squared plus 16 minus 12y equal to 12. So bring this in, you have 9y squared minus 12y plus 16 minus 12 equal to 0. So when you simplify this constant here, you have 9y squared minus 12y plus 4 equal to what? 0. So you can see how we have solved that particular problem. We first of all find out whether there is a close factor or there's a factor that we can bring out from the quadratic equation that will actually give us one of the expressions we have at the linear equation, which we have done that. So we can solve the resulting quadratic equation. So let us still use factorization method to solve that. 9y squared minus 6y minus 6y plus 4 equal to 0. So when you group that, you have 9y squared minus 6y minus, you group that one, 6y minus 4. Like I said, how to factorize, we have a class on that already, so you can just go and check it out. Okay, so we have, let's partition this board. So from the down there, we have 3y as being common. So when you bring it out, 3y divided by y, 9y squared, you have 3y minus, divide there, you have 2 minus, do the same thing here, 2 is common. So when you bring 2 outside, you have 3y minus 2 equal to 0. So that will give you 3y minus 2 into 3y minus 2. So, of course, you can see we are having the same thing. That makes it a real and the equal root. Okay, so we have 3y minus 2 equal to 0, or 3y minus 2 equal to 0. So we have 3y equal to 2. Let's take it twice. Then we have y equal to 2 over 3 twice. So this one is a lot easier. So we don't need to solve 2 times. Just once will give us our answer. Now that we have gotten y in this, so we can just put it here or put it in any of the equations to get our s. So let's call this one equation 3 so that we can make reference to it. So put y equals to 2 over 3 in equation 3. So that will give you 2s equals to 4 minus 3 into 2 over 3. So when you simplify this, you have that 2s equals to 4 minus 2. So that will give you that 2s equals to 2. Divide both sides by 2. You have that 2s over 2 equals to 2 over 2. So this and this will go. We have s equals to 1. Of course, twice. So we can conclude our answer that s equals to 1 when y equals to 2 over 3 twice. So it means that the other set of solution will also give us that s equals to 1 and y equals to 2 over 3. So that's how this one looks like, okay? And that's another approach you can use to solve your one linear, one quadratic simultaneous equation. So let us look at the last question we are going to solve for today. So you can see the type of equation that we have. This time around, both the x and the y contains square. Okay, so though is a difference of 2 square, but we are not going to solve it in that way. So we are going to solve it the way we solve the first equation, which is this number 4, which is by making y subject of the formula, then you substitute in equation 1. So let's say from equation 2, make y subject from equation 2, make y subject of the formula. So that will give us that 2x, I'm bringing this one here, minus 5 equals to y. That gives us equation 3. So we substitute y in equation 3. Okay, we substitute y in equation 1. Okay, so what that means is that the equivalence of y, which is 2x minus 5, we are going to put it in equation 1. So that will give you 4s squared minus, there is y, so I will write what? 2s minus 5 squared equals to 15. So I will expand this and open the bracket, then I will solve. So that will give us 4s squared minus, so let's expand this one here, 2s minus 5 into 2s minus 5 equal to 15. So I want to expand this bracket here. So that will give me s squared minus 2s times 2s will give me 4s squared. 2s times minus 5 will give me minus 10s. Minus 5 times 2s will give me minus 10s. Minus 5 times minus 5 will give me plus 25 equal to 15. So I now need to open this bracket here. So that will give me 4s squared minus 4s squared. Minus times minus here will give me plus 10. Oh, this 2 is 20s. Okay, let's do it one after the other. Plus 10s, this and this. So this and this will give me another plus 10s. This and this will give me plus 10s. Then minus times plus 25 will give me minus 25 equals to 15. So if you look at this, 4s squared will cancel out 4s squared, and 10s plus 10s will give me 20s. So you have minus 25 equals to 15. So we take this minus 25 to the right hand side. So that will give us that 20s equals to 15 plus 25, which will give us 20s equal to 14. So we need to solve for x there. So let's partition the board. So we have 20s equal to 40. You divide both sides by 20 by 20. This and this will go. I'll have x equals to 40 divided by 20. That will give us 2. So we have gotten the value of our x. So the next thing to do there is to get the value of our y by putting the value that we have gotten for s in equation 3. So that will give us, so let's say put s equals to 2 in 3. So when you do that, anywhere you see s in equation 3, you replace it by what? 2. So that will give you 2 into 2 minus 5 equals to y. Therefore, y equals to 4 minus 5, y equals to minus 1. So we can see that the question look as if it's difficult, but the steps that we took to solve that problem is actually far more simpler than the others. Okay, so you present your answer, hence when s equals to 2, y equal to minus 1. So that's how we solve problems on one linear, one quadratic, simultaneous equation. So in our next class under this simultaneous equation, we are going to look at how we can use graph in solving one linear, one quadratic simultaneous equation. Okay, remember to subscribe the channel and like our video and share our video to your family and to your friends. Thank you very much.